at modern corporate solutions. Peter, thank you so much for your time this morning. So we know that countries like the DRC, for instance, Sierra Leone and Venezuela and others are currently in some form of conflict. As we get your reaction on what is happening in the DRC specifically, perhaps let's start with your interpretation then of conflict minerals and how widespread the use of these minerals is globally.
Globally, it's getting larger all the time, and it's really, really tragic. But historically, Africa was mined by quite large companies that were pretty organized, fairly well regulated, and they were monitored. But when each of the African countries obtained independence, it shortly afterwards nationalized all these mines, and unfortunately, it's not able to manage all these areas and all these mines. And so what's going on in the DRC is what's now starting to happen in South Africa, is you have syndicates and warlords and militias controlling the minerals. And we know the DRC is a very large country. It's double the size of South Africa. It's larger than Greenland, larger than Saudi Arabia. It's 2/3 the size of Europe. And you got 75 million people there, but not a very strong centralized government. So we sometimes call them rogue provinces or renegade provinces. The centralized government cannot control its provinces, and a lot of those provinces are infiltrated with militia groups. They say there's 120 militia groups in just the small eastern provinces of the DRC. So I can understand the centralized government. They say Apple and a lot of these tech companies are using minerals mined and sold by the renegades, by the militias. And if we can cut off their source of money, then we cut off their source of arms, and maybe the government can get them under control. But I don't think that's going to be possible. You need the whole world to step in. Apple's done an amazing job of trying to track where its minerals come from, but you can have so many middlemen. Look at the U.S. trying to sanction Russia. You know, there's so many middlemen dealing in Russia's materials that it's almost impossible to stop the flow. So these syndicates, they have very sophisticated networks. It's a chicken and egg. As a country becomes out of control, it loses control of its minerals, who mines them, who sells them, who gets the revenue.